7 Science How to Deal with Rejection. So let's get honest here for a second. Rejection sucks. I mean, obviously, no one likes to be rejected. Whether it's a guy ghosting you after, maybe you had like 3 amazing dates, but then like it didn't really work out, or you thought you're gonna land this dream job and then you didn't, or you're feeling overlooked by someone you really cared about. Rejection hits deep. It stinks, it bruises our ego, it leaves us wondering like, what did I do wrong? But here's the truth. Rejection isn't a reflection of your self-worth. It's just a redirection. And today I want to dive into how can we handle rejections with grace and strengths so you can bounce back so much stronger and much faster, and you don't end up in this negative spiral of bitterness. So let's start with the first point. And I already mentioned this. Recognizing that rejection isn't about your worth, Let's stop tying rejection to our self-worth. It's so unfair to yourself, When someone doesn't choose you, it doesn't mean you're unlovable or that you're not good enough. It often has more to do with them than it has to do with you. Maybe they weren't quite emotionally ready for it. Maybe your values didn't really align. Maybe they just didn't fancy you in the same way how you might have thought they would. And that's okay. It's about compatibility, not about your values as a person. An actionable step here would be start shifting your inner dialogue. When rejection happens, replace thoughts like, I'm not good enough. This wasn't meant for me, but something better will come. And I want to go even further. At the end of the day, if someone rejects you for whatever reason, it doesn't really matter, they're actually doing you a favor. One, they're honest with themselves to realize this is not really what I'm looking for. Two, they're honest with you because they're telling you the truth, which is another gift that they're giving you, rather than keeping you in some sort of a false reality illusion and you think it's going to go somewhere, but this other person's already checked out. They better tell you, right? And therefore, they're also not wasting your time, nor do they waste his time. So many ways, a rejection is something so beautiful because there's 8 billion people out there. We're not going to vibe with absolutely everyone. It's not going to work out with absolutely everyone. With most, unfortunately, it's not really going to work out in the sense of this is going to be my soulmate for the rest of my life. And yet there's so many beautiful lessons where you could also say it's no, this worked out perfect, exactly the way how it is and was. And because that person rejected me, there was another insight that I gained about myself and the type of relationship that I want, and this illusion that I created for myself because I just wanted to see that rather than looking at reality. So there's so much magic in rejection if we allow it to be there and don't tie our self-worth to it. Because at the end of the day, there's someone who has so much self-worth to themselves to realize this is not really quite aligned. And they're willing to share this with us, hopefully in a graceful way. And because they do, they actually allow me to redirect my focus to something that can actually work for me, because clearly this person and whatever that relationship was, it's not working because the other person is not all in. So therefore it's the wrong one. And I just have to look at, the same piece of reality too. Now let's come to point number 2. You want to feel it and you don't want to fight it. We live in a world that glorifies moving on quickly, but let's be real. You can't heal what you don't feel. Suppressing your emotions only makes them come back stronger and more intense. So allow yourself to feel the disappointment, feel the sadness, or even the anger. Process it, journal it, cry it out, but don't unpack. Just live there. You want to learn how to transform this. So give yourself let's say, maybe even a 24-hour window and feel it all. And then also learn okay, now I'm moving on from this. And this doesn't mean a relationship is immediately you have this pain for 24 hours and then you move on. No, obviously the heart, the emotions, the feelings, they're involved in so many different ways. We can't just turn them off and turn them on again. No, but compartmentalizing and using the pain and allowing yourself to feel all the disappointment and the sadness for a very specific time, and then snapping out of it too, because we still have to function in society, right? Otherwise we lose our job, we have responsibilities, there's so many other things that are going on, and we don't just want to dismiss those either. So it's really important to almost give you a controlled time where you can immerse yourself so deep into these emotions and feelings and you feel it all. It's the fastest way for us to actually transmute it, is to feel it all. That's why, generally speaking, women move on much faster from men when there's a breakup than the other way around. Why? Because women are, generally speaking, a little bit more open to really feel absolutely everything. And they talk about this and they cry and they're going through these anger moments and whatever. Men, they usually just try to brush it off. and, put it under the rug, have their own ways of distracting themselves from the pain. So therefore, it just takes a much longer time for them to actually move through the pain and come to a new state of harmony from within. Ladies, stop chasing men. Even when he pulls back or loses interest, or you feel like he's slipping away from you, what you do in that moment can make all the difference between him feeling like you just like all the other women he's ever met, or it can make him realize and feel you're so unique and special, and exactly the type of woman he wants something real with, something he wants to build with, causing him to chase you, to invest in you, and prove to you that he is the right man for you. There's this 12-word text message that you can send to a man that gets his attention almost immediately and makes him realize that it was a mistake to pull away from you in the first place. If you want to find out what that 12-word text message is, then I highly recommend you check out this brand new video that I created for you. I linked it in the description below. Just click the link, and now let's go back to the video. The third point, you want to reflect, but you don't want to ruminate. There's a fine line between reflection and rumination. Reflection is healthy. It's about really understanding what happened and what you can learn from it. Rumination, that's when you're kind of replaying every detail in your head, analyzing every text, every word, every glance, every situation. That's just mental torture, and it's not productive at all. If you like to journal, okay, journal a little bit. Speak to someone else, learn from your experiences. But also think about okay, what can I do differently next time? How can I become a greater version of myself so this is not happening again? And what is just also simply out of your control? And then don't try to change it because it's out of your control. So the next point I've also very briefly mentioned, you want to reframe rejection as a redirection. Sometimes you look back and it's you're almost you thank the universe for the things that didn't really work out. Sometimes rejection is so life-saving because it almost prevents the job you didn't get. Maybe it freed you up for something even better and another job came along. So write down one way that you can do this in order to redirect is you want to write down 3 ways this rejection could actually be working for you, could be good for you. It might feel forced at first, but then the shift of perspectives from loss to opportunity makes such a big difference. 5th point, invest in yourself. When rejections are happening, it's easy to spiral down into self-doubt, but what if you redirected this energy into self-investment? Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not for anyone else, just for you, Pursue hobbies, learn new skills, nurture friendships. The more fulfilled you are, the less space rejection really has to define you. So make a self-investment list and write down the things, could be 3, could be more, that you've always wanted to do but kind of put off. Start with one of them this week. 6th point, avoid seeking closure from others. Let's be honest, closure is often an excuse to stay attached. We think if I could just understand why, I could move on. But here's the truth, you don't need the explanation to heal. Sometimes the best closure is moving forward without any answers. And I want to go a little bit further with this because I've interviewed hundreds of men and women, and one thing that I realized is a lot of women, they need this apology and this closure from men in order for them to be able to move on. Now, unfortunately, that apology, that clear explanation of why and this and that, they never get from the man. Now, this is a very challenging position to be in because you literally make yourself dependent on a man that doesn't even want to be with you. And he has no interest in putting more energy or more time into helping you to go through your part of the healing. They're often not even aware of it either, right? So you need to understand, if you continue to put yourself in a position I need this from him before I can move on, how do you think this is going to happen? It's out of your control. You cannot control this. So what you really need to do is regardless of how this man is going to respond, he's available for me, we can go through things and there's some sort of explanation, it doesn't matter. You're a sovereign human being. You want to be independent, so to speak, and you want to be a strong woman yourself, then do not wait from this for a man because you need to understand you might never get this. Does it mean you never allow yourself to move on? Of course, at some point you will move on, but it's going to take so much longer because you're holding on to this idea. It's like, I'm still going to get this apology. I'm still going to get this explanation. And then 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, for some it's even longer. Then you realize, damn, I'm never going to get it. Okay, let me move on. I was like, you could have had that mindset so much earlier already. So things that you could do here is like, you could write a letter, like a closure letter, if you cannot have it with him. And it's not about like to send it to him, but just to release everything that's in your mind. And you have to say everything that you need to say and then let it go. Maybe you want to burn this letter. Maybe you want to throw it down the river and it just disappears. Whatever it may be. But usually it helps to write things down and take it from the mind through the heart and then on the piece of paper outside of your body. Quite a powerful exercise, actually. And then the 7th point I want to bring up is, you just got to remember rejection happens to absolutely everyone. It happened to you, it happened to me, it happened to anyone else in the world. Nobody is immune to rejection. Not even the most successful, confident, or beautiful people you admire or you see on TV or anywhere else. Oprah was told she wasn't a fit for TV. J.K. Rowling was kind of rejected from multiple publishers too. It happens. The difference is they didn't let rejection define them. So maybe you want to look up some stories who really turned rejection into success. Let their stories remind you that rejection is just a chapter in the book. It's not the whole story. There's still a happy ending at the end. Okay, how do we close this from here? I mean, look, rejections hurt, right? But it doesn't have to break you. It's not a reflection of your worth, but maybe just an opportunity for something better that's going to come along. So allow yourself to feel it, learn from it, and then integrate these pieces and understand you're always worthy of love, success, and happiness. And no amount of rejection is going to change that. So with all that said, another video. Please like it if you really liked it. Drop a comment in the comments if you feel like there's something you would like to share with me and us and all of us. And subscribe to this channel, and there's more videos coming your way.